Good morning, y'all. I'm having a little issue with my disc filters, and it's been going on off and on kind of for about a week. The filters are stopped up to the point where there's a pressure differential one side of the filters to the other outside what it should be, I guess is the best way to put it. So I have my filters programmed to flush. I did have them 20 seconds every 20 minutes or 12 psi pressure differential, whichever comes first. But I'm kind of new to this disc filter deal. We're starting to get some algae growing in our pond. We need to get it sprayed with copper sulfate again to try to kill some of that back. I think the algae is probably my problem, but once in a while these filters will get so stopped up that just flushing normally will not do the trick. So the only thing, from talking to people that know more than I do, the only thing that I have found that works is to take them apart and hand wash them. So that's what I'm getting ready to do this morning. If I can get the pressure off of it. I already had the thing under pressure this morning, so I've got to let some pressure off of it, get these lids off, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. I used to be kind of intimidated by these things. I guess a little bit scared to take them apart, but my buddy Josh told me that when they get stopped up to a certain point, the only thing to do is to take them apart and wash them out and get them cleaned up. So I did it one time and it worked really well. He did caution me that the stacks are usually different and they're supposed to fit together the way they do. So I try to keep them together like I'm doing here. But you can see how much mess is in between the discs and how much mud and algae is in there. And that's the problem. So I'm going to take these individual stacks and try to separate them in that bucket of water and rinse them and shake them and get all the junk out of them. And I'll do one stack at a time, and then I'll put them back on the way I took them off, and we'll see if we can't get this DP back down to 3, 4, 5, something like that. And I don't know, I guess because it's foreign made, I don't know why they call pressure differential DP. Maybe somebody smarter than me on here can explain that one. But that don't look real clean, but it's certainly cleaner than it was. Check this out. Now, this water wasn't clean when I started. It was pond water, and the camera is not doing it justice, but there's so much fine silt floating in here. It's pretty wild. So that should help out a lot. But I'm gonna get the rest of these washed up, and we'll see what happens. So as I spent the last 20 minutes disassembling and washing each sort of stack of disc, I have been hypothesizing on this problem, and I think I've been theorizing maybe. I think I've come up with a hypothesis. So back in the spring is the first time I had this problem, at the beginning of the season. And I was talking to my buddy Josh about it, and he said every spring he has to disassemble his after it's set for the winter. He has got to disassemble them, hand wash them to get the season started. Well, I think this problem with these having such a bad pressure differential has started since we had the 75 inches of rain that we had this spring. So we came out of the gate and we was a little bit dry this spring, which was good early on for strawberry production and so forth. But we were having to water blackberries. I mean, we were watering everything, running this pump nonstop. Well, then it started raining, and rained seemed like every 5 minutes for 2 weeks. And this thing sat here. And I bet, my hypothesis is anyway, that this thing had enough algae and whatnot in the system that it sat here in these black cans, got hot, grew algae, and just completely got stopped up, and it never would flush as a result of that. Kind of like a carburetor. You put an engine up for the year, or put a small engine away for a year, and you come back, it's probably not going to crank because the water ain't, or the gas ain't going to flow through that carburetor like it's supposed to. I think maybe that's what happened with this thing really not running for a good long while when we had all that rain. So now that I got these babies cleaned out, we're gonna fire the pump back up and see what'll happen. But let's see, I'm gonna try to pour it out real slow and just see how much garbage is in the bottom of this bucket right here. I'm betting the bottom is gonna be full. Oh Lord, yeah, look at all that dirt. Wow. Look at that. There's a half a gallon of just like sludge in here that came out of those filters. I'd say that's where our pressure differential was coming from, wouldn't y'all? I believe the problem is rectified. So I don't even know how this is possible, but somehow or another I've got I think the gauges are a little bit not quite perfectly accurate, because it's showing a negative pressure differential. On the field side I've got like 45 pounds, and on the pump side I got 40. That can't be right, but I don't have stopped up filters anymore. I always get a lot of people asking about the drip irrigation, how it all hooks up and so forth. So down there at the pump, if you're paying attention or not, it comes out of the pump and goes into a 4-inch blue lay flat, and then it connects into aluminum, 4-inch aluminum. I love the 4-inch aluminum because the mice don't chew it. You can leave it hooked up here for years, and unless a gasket just gets dry and hard, it ain't never gonna leak unless you run over it. I've got some pieces laid back here that we were using to connect a different section, but when it comes up the hill right here out of the, this is the end of the aluminum line, And then we've got this steel connector that goes from hard line, 4-inch hard line, to back to 4-inch blue lay flat. And from that, it comes up to a little adapter I've got here that takes us from 4-inch down to 2. And it'd be better if I had, which I could, screw a T, or actually screw something in here and put a cross, so I could have 3 different outlets. But I don't have that. What I do have is this little adapter. We come out of the 2-inch, and that's a pretty short piece, so it don't cut my pressure back a whole lot. It comes to this T, and I got one line going that way, one line going this way. I can turn them off independently. I got my pressure gauge, so I can tell that I'm not going to blow anything apart, and I've got a gate valve to dial the pressure back as needed. One of those T's goes here to our tomato field, and it goes into this white flex net. I like flex net better than blue because it the mice don't chew it as bad, and it's pretty durable. It has its issues as well, but I've got a little bit of everything. We just use what we've got handy. And the flex net has these little welded in fittings that you screw your drip tape connectors into. Drip tape connectors connect. I've got shutoffs on these tomatoes so I can turn rows off independently. And that's pretty much all there is to the way our drip system works.